Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Doctor. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Aiman Izzuddin bin Amirullah and my matrix number is the 2019-1087984. I will be presenting my findings regarding the assignment 1. English for specific purposes is a subset of English as a second language. It refers to English instruction that focuses on the development of conversational skills in a certain field or occupation. ESP lessons are tailored to the learner's personal needs, with a focus on the vocabulary and register that they require. The reasons for me to choose librarian as the targeted community for this assignment is because the field of work for this community is quite large, but not too prominent that it is known by a lot of people. As we all know, in each state and country have a library, whether it is small or large. The importance of this establishment is needed for anyone who wanted to use the facilities. In corresponding to this demand, librarian is required to be in this establishment so that it could be a functional institution. So, what is important of ESP for such community? Sadi L. Terumbeta 2018 said that librarians help people not only find the thing that they are reading next, but they also answer questions about computer and internet training, job application, resume writing, and filling out government forms, and many more with low or no cost at all. Most of us know that there is a job to become a librarian, but like myself, we never have thought or known what are their roles in such places. We only know that they need to sort all the books and make sure that we submit the book on time. But there is a lot that is needed to be a librarian, and English is nonetheless important for this community. There are three main departments in the library, which are the technical process department, customer service department, and computer department. And each and every of these departments has a very important role in maintaining a proper working library. Not all libraries have this department, but most of the big libraries, like the ones in universities, need all of this department because they have a lot of books at their disposal. For the customer service department, ESP is important to them because they need to communicate with people from a lot of background, and maybe there are also English speakers among them. So they need to have proper English communication skills so that the thing that the customer asks can be answered well. So from them learning ESP, librarian, it will help them in obtaining the right way to communicate using the terms that are usually used by librarians. Next, I would like to explain about the task that I have shared earlier. Task 1. is a reading activity which consists of present simple verb form. The task consists of several questions that directly ask students on the library field. The aim of this activity is to introduce students to simple verbs and sentences that they will encounter during a conversation in a library setting. It will help them to see what are the appropriate sentences that can be used in this kind of situation. From my observation, the difficulty of this task is from pre-intermediate to intermediate. So it is just a simple task to help librarians to see what interaction or conversation that they will face. For task 2, it is a speaking activity, which is a role play activity. In this activity, students are given a simple conversation worksheet regarding a conversation that will usually happen in a library setting, like the example above, service in the reading room. The objective of this activity is for the learner to get used to having a conversation with the people that they will be interacting. The level of proficiency for this activity is from pre-intermediate to intermediate, since it uses simple sentences in the conversation. This activity will build the learner confidence when it comes to them having a real-life conversation in the future. Lastly, for task 3, it is a fill-in-the-gap activity. This activity aim is to promote information transfer skill by the student from the text that have been given. This will help the students to make analysis better when it comes to any sort of text that they will encounter during their work. The level of proficiency for this activity is from intermediate to advanced. So from there, it will make them think harder and better in acquiring certain information. The approach that is used in the activity for task 1 and 3 is task-oriented approach, while task 2 is an activity-oriented approach based on the observation that I have made. Task-oriented approach is a form of task that is inspired by real-life communicative activities that the student done based on a real-life situation, which in this case is in the library setting. According to Kimberly Blagrove, task-based approach relieves the strain of learning a language while keeping you engaged in the language as you concentrate on completing the exercise. As a result, learning becomes more natural and authentic. For task 2, it is an activity-oriented approach. In this context, P.R. Hanei-Hatani asserts that the importance of incorporating activity-based approach by engaging learners in task work is highly activating their learning process and cultivating their language fluency. So in this case, the activity is suited to librarians since it uses conversation that will highly occur in library setting. The task for task 1 and 3 is mainly to teach students in understanding better of the verb and context of what librarians will usually use in their daily activity. Task 1 mainly focus on the verb that is usually used and what is the correct verb that is used in a sentence. For task 3, it focuses on the information transfer that will be made by a learner. Task 2, however, focus on the engaging part of the activity, which the learner needs to know what can happen and what responses need to be made in that situation. I can see that this kind of activity is very helpful towards librarians that are English, that their English is not their first language, since they can meet people from various backgrounds and language, so they need to prepare, since English is the main language, to communicate even with foreigners from all over the world, not just focus on the English as a first language speaker. To sum up, librarian is not the simplest job that we have expected so far. In a global situation, librarians have a lot more job than we could ever think. So it is quite important that librarians learn language as their arsenal in preparing for anything that could happen. According to Erin Wilkie-O, without question, librarian is one of the insignificant members of the community, but they are also important in maintaining the important things in our life, which is books that contain a lot of knowledge that we need. Forget about the image that librarian is a bookworm. More and more of today's librarians are high-tech information sleuths and clever interrogators in helping patrons plumb the ocean of information available in books and digital records. So I think that is all for my presentation for assignment 1. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you.